All right. So, super excited to go live tonight. I'm going to start doing this more often. But I was just thinking, I've been hearing so many questions about, if you should use paid traffic or organic traffic when you're starting out your online business, or even if you're seasoned with your online business. So, um, it's tough, right? Like if you don't have a lot of money at first, then how can you do paid traffic, right? And then if you um, do have a lot of money and you don't know what you're doing with paid traffic, you can easily waste it. So I would say when you're starting out and you don't really know much about marketing, start with organic content. The reason is because you can see what works from an organic perspective. So you can learn what topics are trending. You can learn how to use things like Google Keyword Planner, Uber Suggest, Exploding Topics, Google Trends, all these different tools to figure out what people are talking about, what's popular, what is useful information, and what people are searching for. Then once you figure all that information out, then what you can do is you can see which posts are doing the best. So you can see if like a particular post is getting a lot of likes, a lot of shares, etc. And then you can figure out, okay, this is good content. You can also measure that against content that doesn't rank well, whether it's the amount of searches aren't as high for those topics, or maybe it's that you just don't present them that well, or maybe they're not that interesting to begin with. So, figure those things out. And then you can say, okay, these are the topics I really presented well. These are the ones I didn't. The ones I presented well, here are the couple that I can really monetize off of. And that there's a big niche and a big market based on research. You can use Facebook analytics with audience insights. You can also use Google Keyword Planner or YouTube keyword tools like vidIQ and TubeBuddy and some different things just to get ideas of what is actually important to an audience. You can also join Facebook groups and just see what questions are asked. There's a ton every day. I ask a lot of questions myself. And it's the best way to learn is just getting out there and kind of just seeing what people are asking on Quora and various other sources. And then once you figure out what people are asking, create your paid content around those topics, the ones that you have proven you can present well and that people are receptive to. And then once you do that, it's kind of like pouring gasoline on a fire. You're going to have a couple pieces of content that rank well, and you're going to put paid traffic behind it at targeted audiences, and you're going to see if that still holds true. And most likely it will do better than the content that you couldn't present as well, because you've already gotten likes and shares on it. You see that people are actually enjoying that. So just continue to make stuff about that and give lead magnets around them and do trainings around that. So, if you're trying to decide between paid and organic, the answer should be actually both. Which one's best in terms of scaling? Probably paid traffic, because you can go fast and you can just turn the dial and say, hey, I'm going to spend $50 or $1,000 a day, which is a big amount. But if you're at a point where you're profiting, every couple $100 and you put some money in and you get more back at a certain threshold, then there's no reason why you shouldn't continue to do that. That takes a long time to figure out, and it depends what product you're doing. And sometimes your sales cycle is like 6 to 12 months or even longer for some products. So it's really hard to tell even in the first year if you're going to be able to profit at a scalable level. And if you have the money and you want to take the risk and you want to try it out, turn up the budget, turn it up to like $100 a day and just see what it does for a couple days. And then if it fails really hard, try to learn from it. One of the best strategies is to start your budget low, though, at like $5 a day and do a couple ad sets, or maybe two, and just let $2.50 go to each. Or you can do like $15 total and balance it out between like 3 ad sets or whatever, and just see which ads do the best and which lead magnets do the best. So this is like a process. It could take a few months. I would start off with one lead magnet, one offer, and one upsell that's really directly related to that, and get people on your email list. So come up with something. So for example, if you're in the workout niche like fitness, and you come up with like a lead magnet for a market of people that are looking to work out at home, right? Because it's COVID or whatever. Even before COVID, people don't want to pay the prices to go to the gym as much as they would just like to do it at home if they could. It's just a convenience factor. And so if you could come up with 10 workouts you can do around your living room, in under 5 minutes, maybe that's your lead magnet. and then say, this will help you live a healthier lifestyle and allow you to, be happier, or whatever it is, whatever the benefits are. You target those people that are into fitness and those related niches, and you bring those people into your funnel, and you see which ads you put out. So maybe you put out one with the same ad copy but different covers for your lead magnet, just to see what colors resonate or titles resonate. Then you pick the one that wins, and then the next thing you would do is test the interests. So you would see which interests do the best, and you could do this in any order. If it was me, I would actually start with interests and ad creatives, because those are probably the most important and the things you will really get results on. Like a book's the cover look, it matters, but it's not a big determinant. Like if you're targeting the wrong audience or your ad isn't getting engagement, there's something wrong there. If you're doing like a display ad and your book cover's a part of it, then that would matter more. But if you're doing like a video ad and nobody's watching it or nobody's clicking, or your cost per click's like $20 on Facebook or something ridiculous and you're not even getting any data, then you might want to make something different. And one of those strategies is to, come up with different hooks. So you might say like, if you want to learn the fastest way to live a healthier lifestyle, you should check out this guide, and here are the benefits. On Facebook, you got to watch compliance, but on a lot of other networks, especially YouTube and Google search, you can be a little looser, and Microsoft ads, and just test different headlines and titles. But when you go to the landing page, if you're going to do that differently for each ad, pick the winning ad and then copy the written part exactly, whether it's from a video script that you wrote or you just said and transcribed, or if it's a display ad, copy that word for word and put it on your landing page. And whether that's in a video form or written form. And the reason is because you're going to have a much, much better chance of converting people because it's congruent. Because you only have like 3 seconds or less to get somebody's attention and convert them. If you ever think about when you clicked on a link in a Facebook feed and it didn't load right away, you left. Or you saw a headline, you're like, I don't know, this looks kind of sketchy, and you left, right? But if you see the exact same thing you just heard in a video or that you just read, you're going to be like, oh, this is the same thing. It's like a subconscious thing. And you kind of have to put yourself in the mind of the customer when you're doing that. It's a little hard at first, but you'll see it once you read into it more. And I've made that mistake many times where I just will put a headline that's shorter, but I think it's supposed to achieve the same thing. But really, if somebody clicked on your ad, that means they liked what you said in the ad. So you should keep it the same regardless. So if I could go back to all the times I've probably made that mistake, I would make a different landing page that goes for each ad, because then you'll know exactly which one's doing the best. You can test the same landing page and pick the winning ad and then just make your landing page work with that. Just know that the ads that, the other ads, when they click on them, you might be missing out on those conversions because those other ads are written differently to the landing page. The landing page can only be written one way. So, you could clutter it with text from each one, or you can try to keep your message simple, but then you're not really testing different things. The idea is test a couple different things, pick a winner, make the landing page match it, and then try to optimize it from there. Because one of the biggest reasons you won't sell on your landing page, and I've had to learn this the hard way from, putting out my videos or not videos, but my copy on my landing pages and just getting trashed sometimes, just because sometimes you write it and you think it's good and then you realize your conversion rate's not very good, and it's because you didn't match the copy. It can also be the targeting though. So recently I was trying to figure out, I was getting 70% or 70-cent clicks on YouTube, which is really good, and my conversion rate was out of whack, and I realized it was because I was targeting a broader audience than I was normally. They changed the settings and I got confused and clicked on the wrong one, and basically it was finding people that were broadly interested, meaning not super interested, as opposed to people who are Googling that with a purchase intent, and that's what you want. And the same thing goes in your organic content. You should be making blog posts, videos, just like I'm making right now as a live stream, all those things as a or around a topic that is searchable, right? Like something that's useful. You want to make a useful piece of media there, because if you're just like making a blog post about let's say back to the fitness niche, like you might just say like my fitness routine. Okay, well, your fitness routine might be awesome, or mine might be awesome, but guess what? Maybe somebody wants to learn about a ketogenic diet versus a paleo diet, which happens to be a popular thing. And that's a lot more specific, and that's probably not having anything deal with my actual workout routine. And so if I miss the boat on that, now all of a sudden I can't, I can't capture that person. They're going to stop reading or they're going to leave. My bounce rate's going to be high, which means the amount of people that leave your page after visiting initially. And then I'm not going to get any conversions and sit around wondering why people aren't converting, and that happened the other day. The bad part about paid traffic is that you pay and you lose that money and you don't get it back unless you're putting those people in a remarketing audience, which I highly, highly recommend. And I will be making more videos about that on retargeting. I do have a video about retargeting ad examples, but if you're not capturing them with a pixel or your email list, you're really missing out, especially if the funnel isn't converting well. So you do have to spend money to test it out, but it's kind of hard to, test it at first. So I would start with organic content, figure out what topics people are liking, even if it's just one like one like's better than none, right? Or one share is better than none. And it could take a while to figure that out, but you're going to figure out what category of topics, like within fitness, right? Maybe you're just not good at conveying workout routines, but you're really good at conveying diet plans. Then you should focus on diet plans because you're much better at attracting that audience, and therefore it's going to be easier for you to make money. And then once you get comfortable with that, you can sell that. Then you can say, okay, I'm going to go really work on this workout plan thing, or just hone down on the workout plan thing and figure out what you're saying wrong. Look at other people's, posts about that and ads about that. There's so many people out there in that niche and a lot of different niches. And once you figure that out and you hone in on that messaging, keep it consistent the whole way through the funnel, from the ad creative to the landing page, the exact same thing. It's literally just another version of the same ad on the landing page. That's it, with a button and a form. If you do anything different than that, you're giving yourself a chance to lose that customer. And I used to think, oh, how's that going to work with a video? There's so much you say in a video. Transcribe it and then put it on the landing page. I've tried it; it works. And I was suggested that by somebody in a Facebook group, which was really helpful. So I highly recommend that. Congruence is a big deal. And just have really strong headlines and stuff. So when you're writing your ads in the video or the ad creative on the front end or the beginning, just make sure you're writing something that's useful. Write something that is going to catch attention, deliver benefits, and has a call to action. If you have all of that in the original ad, then it should translate to the landing page. It's not going to be perfect. I don't know anybody who has a 100% conversion rate. And actually, most people who hit a landing page are going to leave. Whether it's the load time, the color scheme, whatever, they're just not ready to buy and or opt in for your free giveaway to learn about you and your company and what you try to do. And so, that's why you have a remarketing pixel. But if you can convert at 30 to 50%, which is really good, 50%, 60%, you're in the money making area there of landing pages. Even at 10% when you're starting, I average about 20 to 30 right now with the landing pages I have, and it works. I mean, you get leads. It will cost more than if you had 50%, because that means you're losing another 20% or 30%. I'm losing those people that were coming in. That's not always a bad thing. Sometimes those people were just not qualified, and maybe I didn't disqualify people enough in the ad or qualify people enough, meaning I didn't rule out groups that didn't belong in my target market of selling. So you should really try to do that in your videos and your ad. Like if you're not into this, that, and the other thing, it's not for you. So for dieting, it might be like, if you don't want to live a healthier lifestyle and you're lazy, this is not for you. That gets rid of all those people immediately. Psychologically, they don't want to read that, or it challenges their belief and they try to fix it. And usually those people are the ones that want to better themselves anyway, right? So you can capture that information. You write that in your ad creative. You test different ones. You test different images. You want to test one variable like at a time, like one aspect. So you can test the creatives, meaning the actual videos or ad copies. You can test the interests. You can test the demographic information like age and gender and stuff like that too. If you read a book, it's by Brendan Kane. It's brilliant. It's about how he got 1 million followers in 30 days. He used paid traffic and he basically split tests like 1,000 different ad variations and he figured out what worked. And the reality is he doesn't have a one answer that will work for everybody. Every audience is different and they will respond to every person who portrays a message differently. So what you need to do is you need to just split test every time. And it's a lot of work at first. And if you don't have a big budget like he does, or bigger budget because he succeeded in the past, start small, right? If you only can spend $600 a month, maybe try to start with $10 a day between 2 ad sets. Make them drastically different, and then figure out which one was better. Then follow that path, and then keep going. Optimize it every 3 days or 5 days. Really, like you should always be looking at it each day, but like maybe change the copy after 3 days. Figure out which one's the winner, and see if you're getting clicks or more impressions or whatever it is. The one that gets the most reach and clicks is the one that's winning, and really the best conversions. And also with targeting. Whether it's organic or paid. And I think I said this earlier, but I'll really nail it home now. Like I said, I recently was doing broad audiences on YouTube specifically. Doesn't matter. You could be on TikTok doing ads or Snapchat or native ads, which is like on sites like Yahoo or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter if you start broad. Like, let's say you're in the fitness niche again, or maybe a different niche like sports, right? And you target everybody that likes sports or everybody that likes football, and your particular product is like a college football, schedule or something like that, or like a calendar, right? Well, you want people to like not just college football, like that's really broad still. It's better than just sports, much better, because that rules out 99% of sports, right? Even though football is a big sport. And so now you're targeting just people who like football. Make sure it's American football if that's what you're doing. And then if you're doing college, make sure they like college football and certain teams maybe. And then narrow down by who likes calendars, as well as like if you're on YouTube or Google, who's searching for college football schedules, college football calendars, maybe just calendars because that's really specific to the product. And if you're on Facebook, I would just narrow it by people who like to buy calendars or are engaged shoppers who like watching specifically college football on TV and might like, Kirk Herbstreit, Lee Corso, all the big names in that. And if you're not familiar with any of those names, it doesn't matter what the niche or the product is. Those are the people in that particular space. You just have to figure out who they are. And if you're doing something you're passionate about, you will either meet those people, find out who they are through searching or reading books, or you'll already know because you're already deep into fitness or, whatever it is, writing or tutoring or sports, or for me, it's digital marketing right now and music and tutoring. I like tutoring. So like, if you hone in on your customer persona, you identify, you really narrow it, start really specific with a small budget, really even with a big budget. Because then once you get it working with a specific audience, you can spread out. You always want to start super targeted. That's why they call it targeting, right? Like think about it. If you're playing darts, yeah, you can hit other numbers around the board, but wouldn't you just want to hit the bullseye if you could? Yeah, I mean, it depends on the dart game, but like generally you just want to hit the bullseye because that's the best, right? And that's right in the middle. It's the smallest target. It's the one that is the most narrow. And so that's like a good analogy for figuring out your audience. So narrow down, test creatives, test one thing at a time, spend a month or two testing. You're not supposed to figure it out in one day. If you can, kudos to you. But if you can't, take 3 weeks, take 6 weeks, take 12 weeks. And after the first 3, you figured out which ad creative's good. Then you figure out which audience is bringing you the most clicks. Then you figure out you need to be congruent on the landing page and that your autoresponder, you need to have better emails for that audience. Now you start getting those sales or those calls set up, and now you start converting. So, hopefully that's helpful in addressing, what the overall strategy is. At the end of the day, I use organic and I use paid traffic. And I do, paid ads. I've done paid ads with Snapchat, Facebook, Pinterest, Google search, YouTube ads, display ads on Google, like lots of different ones. And it doesn't really matter what platform you're on. I mean, they're all pretty much the same. You narrow down, you remarket to people who leave your page, so you capture them still, and you deliver a message under compliance rules, and you try to get your target market in what you offer for free or low cost to build them through the funnel. Funnel is supposed to shrink and get buyers down the funnel more. And then organic's the same, right? They start with a Google search or a Bing search or a YouTube search. Any type of search is really where that's coming from. Or if you're on TikTok, more like a popular viral feed, that happens too. Same with Instagram and hashtags on Instagram. It's both. Facebook's not as relevant as much unless you're in groups, which is more of a community-based thing. But like you just try to pull in a certain demographic, repeat a message again and again, and have a call to action in each one. The only difference with paid is that you're picking the people you want from the get-go. With organic, you kind of have to figure out what would those people search. Organic's only going to help you with your paid. So I would recommend start with organic, save some money for the first month or so. Just figure out how to do that and why it works. Even if you're not crushing it, it could take a year or two or 10 sometimes to be crushing it with organic, and that's fine. Some of the biggest YouTubers, some of the biggest blogs took 5 to 10 years to build. Doesn't mean it wasn't worth it. It's the same with real estate. It just takes a while, right? It takes 5 years, 10 years to build value. And the same thing happens with your organic stuff and paid ads too, right? Yeah, you'll get faster results. It might not be a 10-year plan. It might be a 2-year plan. But still, if your plan isn't good to start, like it's not accurate, it's not well tested at different levels, if you're just kind of leaving it on and not changing the variables when appropriate, or you're not really focusing on keeping it the same all the way through, which is hard at first, then you're going to fail, and you're going to fail with losing money as opposed to losing time. So organic will take more time and research, but it's worth it. And then paid traffic, it still takes time to learn the skills, but once you learn the skills, it's not hard. You turn it on, you scale it. There's a lot of terminology. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's all I have on my soapbox. And if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them in the chat. So I'll sit back here for a minute or two. And if you have questions, just ask in the chat box. If not, that's totally fine. I'm going to drop my email so you can email me whenever you have a question. And if you end up finding this video after the stream, that's cool. Just shoot me an email or message me on the community page on here, or just comment on a video and ask a question. I'm here to help. I'm doing the thing that you're trying to do. I'm trying to help you get your business off the ground and succeeding. And the only way that I can help you do that is if you ask questions. So whether it's about paid organic traffic or something else, let me know. I'd be happy to help. I'm also really active on my email list, so if you have questions related to topics that I send there, feel free to ask away there as well. Well, it looks like nobody is asking questions, so thanks for everybody who's going to watch this or has watched this already. Hopefully it's valuable to understand the difference between organic and paid traffic and why they both complement each other, and you should do them both at the same time. Just remember, don't do too many paid traffic sources at the same time, and don't do too many organic at the same time. If you're going to do blogging with Google search and you're going to do Google search ads, do those two. That's it. Don't touch anything else, because you might not crush it with those two at the beginning, but if you learn how they work at least, maybe it's just competitive on that search engine, right? Google is pretty competitive, especially with paid search ads. And if you don't have everything together and all the skills and knowledge and you don't have the budget, it might not work out for a while. But maybe you go to Bing or you go to a different search network, or you go to like something like Pinterest or YouTube, and you crush it because they're just less competitive. And now all of a sudden, all the skills you mastered, not just learned, but mastered in Google, you can transfer them. And it really does happen. Like, I just popped into TikTok ads the other day, and I've done paid traffic on so many other things, and I knew what the traffic traps are, which means a lot of people talk about this in different ad tutorials, but basically there's certain settings in every ad network where they tell you this is the best option, and it's not always the best option because it's expanding your targeting. And what happens is you end up getting broader targeting, and you end up spending more for people who are less interested in your product. I don't think it's necessarily to screw you over, but if you check those boxes, you won't be getting the best performance. And this is from people who have paid a lot of money on ad networks, like millions of dollars, and they know best because they have had to spend for clients and make sure their ad dollars are going to the right spots. So, for instance, on Google search, you don't want to use broad match because that means like a keyword like footwear could end up being like scuba suit shoes, or something that's like not specific to shoes. If you're selling like tennis shoes, right? Like it can pick up different variations or really broad variations of a term. And when you're paying $3 to $5 to $10 to sometimes $50 for a click, not a conversion, not a sale, click, which might not even get to the page, you definitely want to make sure that you're paying for something valuable. Same thing with TikTok. I was looking at it and I noticed some of the interests aren't very specific yet. And so they have some contextual advertising where you can say, I want my content to show up on this type of content, and that helps narrow that audience. But it's still not super narrow. And like for something like digital marketing, there's no digital marketing interests on TikTok yet. It's just like motivation, lifestyle, and advice and technology. That's so broad. So it's still premature as to whether or not that data is super valuable. But on like something like Google or Bing, you're getting exact searches with intent, and it's been proven for years that it works. But one advantage of TikTok is that you can get a lot of reach with the ads right away. I just read that in an article the other day, that you can get tons and tons of reach for a low cost, but it might not convert as well depending on your audience. So, you just got to kind of learn like what boxes to check. Don't place ads on other display parts of the app. That was like a traffic trap. You just want to place it on the feed generally, or like the trending feed, because on those other apps, the behavior is different and the interests are different, so you can't control who you're targeting. Whereas on TikTok, you can specifically know where your ad's going to be, which is important. And just things like expanding your audience when possible. That's not good unless you're really trying to scale and you're already profiting with your business, or you're already reaching your brand awareness goals, because then you're just spending dollars on people that might not even be interested. So keep that in mind. Same thing with Google search, with organic or TikTok or whatever. Keep your hashtags or keywords really specific, depending on the platform, and just crush it with those keywords or hashtags. It's really easy to pick the biggest ones with the most keyword searches. But if it's not specific to what you're selling, it's not going to help. So, yeah, so I hope this was helpful. If you like this video, hit the like button, share it, comment below. You can email me anytime and send me a message, and we can set up a call. I usually offer one free call to somebody new to the digital marketing space that's trying to grow their brand or to crush it online with their business, and they're just looking for advice or consulting, whether it's with affiliate marketing, digital consulting, e-com, building a brand, that kind of thing. So yeah, feel free to reach out, and I hope everybody has a great rest of your day and a great week ahead.